You could have heard this episode 48 hours early on our Patreon, patreon.com/indieheadspodcast. By joining us for as low as $1 a month, you'll receive episodes early and gain access to our Discord server, and also get yourself an Indieheads podcast sticker. All of our coming episodes we put on our Patreon 48 hours so it hits our public podcast feeds. But if you're hearing this through our Patreon feed, we thank you so much for your support. We especially want to thank our Real Ones patrons, including Becca Etienne, Georgia Mikowski, Matt Cameron, James Boss, Marcy Anime, Chance Holdup, Delaney Mothman, Josiah Duncan, Jenna, Grant the Back of My Dracula, Pablo Escobar's Hippos, Jeremy Bowl, Midwest Maxwell, Tim's Discount Prices, Heath and Catherine, Parker Gross, Andrew Grieve, Listen Up Nerds, Matthew Taylor, Breen Hare, I Like Books, Sarah Moore, Griff, Max Kapazinski, Mark Barry, Cal50, My Bussy and Me, Chris Wade, Jake Wald, Grant, Keep Autism Weird, Rob Marino, Max, Dylan, Zach, Gavin Farting Freak, and Maze Farms. To become a real one, consider supporting us for $5 a month on Patreon, receive a bonus episode every month, and get a shout out at the top of the pod. Anyways, though, enjoy the episode.
Hello there, listeners of the Indieheads podcast. I wish that I could be addressing you on better news, but unfortunately, I have some things that I have to account for on this episode. I stand here before you today in court, in the court of the crimes of liking British people. And I stand accused of the crime of Anglophilia in the first degree. Accused of liking British people and their music, thinking it is cool because it is British, thinking their accents are cool. And most importantly, I stand accused of liking the Wombats. Now, Judge, I plead to you not guilty. I plead not guilty. I have reformed. I have changed. I don't have a Wombats t-shirt anymore. I think it's somewhere at my parents' house, maybe. But I promise, I've changed, Your Honor. Please,
lethal injection.
Let me off the hook.
Lethal injection.
Hey, order in the court, order in the court. Okay. Ooh, okay, I gotta make a decision here. All right. So I'm gonna just we gotta prove this. All right. You can tell me all these things, but we have to prove. We have two ways to prove this. Of course, we have some songs we want to play. And if you're very normal during the episode, during the playlist someone's played the episode, I'm not episode. There's no episode. I'm a judge in a Los Angeles court. As the next person I'm gonna judge is Holiday Kirk for securities fraud. We're gonna play a playlist and we're gonna see what your reactions are. If you're very normal, then hey, you're free to go. No harm, no foul. But I think just to make sure, I'm going to post a photo. Or I'm going to show you a photo of a lineup of a music festival that just came out. That is not entirely filled with the British people, but it's got a lot of British people. It's definitely, a pretty British heavy lineup here. And that is, of course, the Cruel World lineup.
Oh.
And I have it posted here. And this is happening in your hometown.
Interpol aren't British. They are spiritually British, but that doesn't count. Come on.
Again, when I say the name Duran Duran, do you have any feelings? All right, we're gonna do the Ryan Gosling Blade Runner 2049 test to see if you're still
genuinely though, I actually only really know Hungry Like the Wolf. Like, I'm not a Duran Duran head like that. I like the Killer songs that are ripping off Duran Duran.
God, Simple Minds. Okay, I'm gonna escape the bit here for a second. How the fuck is Simple Minds this high up? They're just like a one-hit wonder,
Matty,
right?
Basically, yes.
But it's the audience. It's
that's true.
But
even then.
Well, I think the thing with these nostalgia bait okay, we just got to start the episode. But like the nostalgia bait festivals, there are certain bands for those audiences where the equation is different. Like, they never got a chance to see this band, perhaps. There's also a lot of me and Alec type Leyrung generation people at these festivals. You got to keep that in mind too. But yeah, I don't like Simple Minds. Don't ask me any questions about Placebo. Let's start the episode.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Indieheads podcast. I'm your host, Matty Monroe, here with Grant, here with Jackie, and Grant, you made the playlist today.
I have.
Although this will probably not be your episode once
No.
it's all said and done.
I think I've a little bit exaggerated, only in that there are a lot of these bands that I actually was not familiar with, although like you put them on and it's like probably what would happen if you like said the right sequence of numbers to someone that was like kept in Russia during World War II, you know, like
Yeah.
I didn't know these particular bands, but I was very quickly taken back to a very, very specific era of my listening life. And there are exactly 3 bands on this episode that I did regularly listen to in high school. And so we will get to those bands, but also I will have plenty of things to say about these other bands because for good and bad, this episode is, I said it before we were recording, but we've promised a FIFA songs episode for a while. And this is like the entree, the appetizer to that episode, because that's exactly the bag that we're in right now. Is like 2008 British indie is the assignment. Is that correct, Grant?
Absolutely. This is Jackie's MK Ultra Awakening, basically. So I made this playlist while I was playing Lego Rock Band with my niece one day, because that game is just crawling with kind of landfill British indie music. A lot of the songs in that are on this playlist, and it got me thinking about the fact that so many of these songs I had known for some fucking reason as a Texan child. They just made their way over here, and then you never heard anything from, well, most of these bands ever again. And I just thought it would be fun to dunk on the British for a couple hours, and that's why the episode exists.
I mean,
Yes.
It really is a foolproof formula, even within this episode existing already, but just in general, you know, like. And as I sort of joked about at the intro, I have had a vaguely British bent to a lot of my music taste throughout time, and it genuinely is something I've kind of gotten over, as we will get into. I think the thing that really helped it click for me, that like to break the spell of not liking British bands, because I still like the British bands that I like, but like not thinking of them as like exoticized, is realizing that British people are about American stuff the way American Anglophiles are about British stuff. Like once you realize how much British people are into like bluegrass Americana music, you're like, they're not cool. They're just different. Like they just have different words for stuff.
Yeah.
And so me as a child was like, oh, they're unique, and I'm not like the other kids. I don't listen to Blink 182. I listen to the Wombats. And now I realize that that is less cool somehow. I managed to go further down the totem pole, but we'll get to that when we get to the Wombats. Let's start the playlist. And
Well, before we get to the playlist, I have sent Matty a very important video that I think it's a very good time capsule of this kind of era of British music. It's a video from either a website or a TV show called I'm Amy and I'm an Indie. I don't know what this is from. People are very mean to this girl, but I think now it's just a very cute time capsule of like British indie culture in the 2000s.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm 17. And I'm an indie.
This is me when I tell people what I
Sort of define indie.
what are my side projects.
This is our new podcast intro.
That's like the holy water.
Hi, I'm Matty, and I'm an indie.
Lots of games.
I was waiting
Be
when
really
British
into
Matty
music,
would make his
that's
first
fun.
appearance.
You got to wear clothes that.
I gotta work on the accent. I feel like I don't think it's that bad.
They have to be vintage. A lot of people say that we like have spray on jeans. It doesn't faze us, you know.
So
I have
spray on-
jeans
wait,
that went
Maddie,
past-
Pause
don't you
for a
remember
sec.
hipster culture?
Well, I remember skinny jeans, but
the spray on is like that's like
I mean,
an expression.
I immediately got like, oh, that's skinny jeans. I just never heard them described that way.
Well, Maddie, they're British. They say aluminium. You know, they
That's
have
true.
different
That is true.
expressions.
Sit down, they hurt my legs. I get pins and needles after 5 minutes.
Also,
But
her
it's
hair.
great.
I don't. Again,
To be the
Amy.
best indie,
I don't want to. I don't want to be mean to
I
Amy.
live up to that. I take them all in.
Gotta put the hair
People at
straightener
school
down.
think
You
it's
gotta
great
put
that
the
I'm
hair
different.
straightener down.
They're a bit
It's
perplexed
You gotta put the hairspray down.
sometimes, not
British,
It looks- the
British,
hair does
British
not look-
people, especially in this era,
But
we're
they
going to
love
talk
it,
about
yeah.
various
They respect
hairstyles
them,
throughout this
they take a lot
episode.
of
It's not a
course.
place of
I like to,
of great
paint and stuff
things
and do that a
happening.
lot. And I'm in a
It just
band,
doesn't look
yeah, but
healthy.
we
It's
don't
just not a. It's
practice.
just not a healthy
yeah,
head of hair.
like it looks like the ends are like frizzed and blow dried to hell. It's tough
Very
scene.
Robert Smith in the Rain kind of hair.
Exactly, exactly.
I'd buy Johnny Borrell, lead singer of Razorlight, my favourite band. I'd just keep
Razorlight?
it in
Razorlight?
a glass container.
Oh,
Like, I
Razorlight.
drink,
Okay.
I love Razorlight.
Again, British. I can't understand what British people are saying.
I have one song that changed my life when I was just listening to Radio 1, when I was like 14. Golden Touch by Razorlight came on, and that's when I became indie. Good shoes.
What song
That's
turned
me
you
when I-
indie, Matty?
Cribs, Baby Shambles,
Ooh, that's a good
Jack
question. I
Came
feel like it's
on,
probably gonna be
I'm gonna
like.
be the next
I would say
indie.
probably like I heard a
I'm
James
gonna
Blake
be
song and I was like, all right, I'm
Golden
indie now.
Family.
What about you,
That's-
Jackie?
That's too cool. I was gonna say Float On by Modest Mouse. I was gonna
That
be
was
honest.
probably mine as well.
Most of it is male sensitive.
If I had to go, I mean, maybe there was a Killer song I probably heard, but I didn't really enter.
The Killers
This
are my
is just
first
like-
favorite. I don't think of the Killers as being. I mean, I probably did at the time, but like, they're not really indie.
I mean, we allow them on Indieheads on the subreddit, for better or worse. We probably shouldn't, but
charity shops, because I mostly listen to vinyl and stuff like that. Because it's quirky. It's like my favourite band.
This is quirky.
I listen to vinyl because it's quirky.
It gets a bit annoying when
Oh my
everyone
God.
likes
This is a beautiful
This is
time.
Oh my
amazing.
gosh, 2 minutes!
Most random CD that I
Okay, I gotta pause for a second here. We gotta describe the decor.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, there's like she's got like 6 guitars. She's
Yeah.
got like 6
She's
guitars
got
on
a
display
12
here.
string. She's got like kind of like a Gibson with like a Union Jack on it.
Yeah. I assume this is like the BBC just bring these over for like set dressing, because she maybe had like one guitar. Like, no, we're gonna if you're an indie like you say you are, you have to have so many guitars.
You never
There's
know. They
also
could just be
these-
a spoiled kid that has a lot of guitars.
That's true. They're British, so they're highly probable.
We got to talk about
Also-
the table decor.
Okay, that's what I was getting to.
Yes.
The like pottery on here. Do you remember those toys? It was like the balls.
Yes, I already know what you're
with
talking
air
about.
that have like the little spikes.
Yep.
It looks like that. Like it's pottery that looks exactly like that. Like you took one of those balls, put like a cement or
Yeah,
like
it
ceramic
definitely
cast
looks
of them.
like something a Dune character would stick their hand into as part of some sort of
Yeah.
torture game.
Yeah. This girl's got 4 durians on her table.
Album. It speaks to me on a level that no band could do.
Aw, indie friends.
And here we are
Aw.
at one of my favourite galleries. We're just going to walk around and look at some of this stuff.
Okay, so they're in an art museum right now. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Tag
All right,
yourself.
I'm gonna go back and pause just so we get. Here's the thing. Also, this video is very low res, so it's a bit tough to kind of get reads on what these people fully look like. But there's enough detail that we can kind of figure out here.
I can see the outline of a peacoat. I know what time and place I'm in.
Yes.
Yep.
This is late 2000s. So you remember, of course, the famous Tumblr photo of all the indie kids in like
Yes.
2013 all lined up. This is like the 2009 equivalent of that. All right.
It is. It's at the moment that like hipster culture is just barely about to dawn, and you still have the aftermath of like the early 2000s scene kind of look
Yes.
going on, and those two things are intermingling in a horrible but great way.
Yeah.
It's giving like Broken Side, but
The
then,
missing link between Photo Bucket and Tumblr, basically.
person that's really into Joy Division despite not having lived while Joy Division was happening.
Yes.
That kind of energy,
Mm-hmm.
as we'll get to later.
We've got 5 women here and one guy who is wearing the pea coat. Again, we are
Feminist.
looking at some. We are looking at some. We are looking at some incredible bangs here. We are looking at so many of
Oh,
the
yeah.
incredible bangs of the era.
The bangs, they're swooping, folks. You know that they're swooping. The bangs are swooping. We love
Bangs
to
are
see it.
swooping. We've got scarves. We've got
Cardigans.
this is
We've got skinny
cardigans.
jeans.
Oh, this is gonna make me sick. It's overwhelming.
I don't think we belong in particular tribes, but Amy, she certainly does.
Amy's in a tribe of her own.
Amy is the indie.
She sounds like Paul McCartney. She sounds like Paul McCartney pitched up a little bit.
There's no nice way to be, but...
The main places we go to hang out, Flashback Boutique.
Oh yeah.
We like cafes.
Yeah.
Thanks for quite
They're
lazy
playing the
single
Zutons
shot for an hour
Valerie
and
right now.
We'll be able to sit in the cafe for the rest of the day. So.
A generic pizza store is located, situated adjacent to your house.
£9.99 a pizza, expensive, but worth it.
What I wear. All right, let's get to what I wear. Let's evaluate this fashion.
Now we're gonna go and look at some of my favourite shops.
Favorite shops. Oh God.
They're just in the mall.
Yeah, they're just at a mall.
Does this show still
Shop, like-
exist? Can we get Max on this?
That's pretty indie.
I'm Max, and I'm a quirked up white boy.
T-bars are pretty indie, just because they're sort of a bit retro.
I may look like I'm Portland, but I listen to footwork.
In indie, yeah. Because it's a bit like I was saying, like what your grandma would wear. It's not matter if you're near to mainstream shops, yeah, you can definitely get the indie look
Mainstream
on the high
shops.
street. If I had money, I'd be buying this today. Because it's got like a really like 1950s sort of
Could
cut
the BBC
to it.
not give her some
It's
money
like-
so
it's
she can
just
buy
really
this
nice and
indie
vintage
dress that she
looking.
wants?
Here's the skinny jeans, but they need to be taken in because they're not tight enough, are they really? We need to do some work on them. I've taken all my skinny jeans there. The most I've ever spent on an item of clothes is I got some white winkle pickers and they were £75. And this is another of my favourite shops. It's
What
a
did she
vintage
just say?
shop.
Winkle pincers. They're like boots that have like spikes on the end. They're big in like
vintage
goth
style
post-punk
shops. Quite
scenes.
good, you know.
All right.
Vintage shoes,
Okay.
You can see here, they're all like...
It's important to remember
really
that
in
Grant
at the
is a
moment.
goth,
I'm
and
very,
so
like,
they also have
indie
access
thing
I speak
to-
British
to the British
indie.
ways.
It's linked with punk, but that's the sort of
It's
punk
similar to like
influence
how
in indie. I don't worry
I
about
know
it,
a lot
like
of
the
British
big
slang
second-hand
terms
version,
because
that's
of
how
like the
performative
dance
it
music
is. I wear
Discord
anything.
servers I'm in.
Darcy likes,
Mhm.
tends to wear eclectic things. She
Wait.
tends to-
Wait, is that just named them?
I don't
No, Matty, the show
Okay,
is
that's
called
the name of the
Them.
show.
Oh,
That's the name of the
okay.
show. But it's just very funny.
Matty,
He's dad.
you just read it that way because it looks almost like Tom, but just Tim.
That's true.
Them York.
That's true.
better in brighter colours, I think, really.
At least
Oh, he's wearing a. By the way, that guy was wearing
velvet,
a
that's
sick ass
disgusting.
turtleneck. He looks
Crushed
like
velvet.
spooky black.
I'm at the Egg. It's a really cool indie cafe. It sells vegetarian and
It's
vegan
like a
food,
vibe.
and it's great. So we're gonna go.
Oh.
What are we getting at
Again,
the
we're
indie cafe?
roasting this girl, but I genuinely hope that she's doing okay.
Yes.
I hope she's doing okay. I hope she's doing great.
It's like, oh well, the show, the producers ask these questions and she has to take them to whatever place
The
fits
world will
like
not
what
be
they're
that
doing,
way,
you know?
Yeah.
If everyone was indie, because I have more competition with Johnny Borrell, and you know he is to be mine one day. So when I'm older, I'd like to be.
I hope that he. I hope that he ends up. He was
the
yours,
media, like,
but not in
focus
a
on, one
gross way.
particular
Yeah.
You
group
know.
No,
of
there's no way for it
teenagers
to
and
not
just
be a
focus on,
gross
like,
way.
That's true,
Unfortunately.
and not the good stuff. You know, everybody's different, and we're not.
I hope
all allowed
Amy's
to
doing good
roll
today.
in. The
I
best
hope
thing
she
about
listens
being
to
a
the pod.
teenager, I guess, is like the fact that
She's
everything
not
that you
gonna
do is
listen to
new and
this.
that you're learning new things. But then
I would hope
there's
not.
things that you can't do as soon. Being indie is great, just because you get
Amen.
to go to loads of great gigs and meet loads of great bands. You get to meet.
Okay,
new
she-
Can we
people
clip that?
And dress in
She is correct about
Yeah,
that.
she's
That is
spitting.
one again. I this is me being real, being genuinely speaking, because again, we're coming to the end of the year, so I'm thinking about this stuff. It is genuinely very cool to be into quote unquote indie music and to be able to go to gigs pretty often and meet artists and talk with them and meet other fans and talk with them. It is a very good community bonding experience. Like, it is very rewarding, to be able to meet and talk to some of the people that make your favorite music in the entire world, because they're small artists starting out. It's great. I just want to make
really cool
give
clothes
this a
and just
positive
have a lot of
spin.
fun with it.
All right,
I'm
now let's
one of
put our
them.
skinny
I'm
jeans
very
on and listen to
amazing.
some Kaiser Chief.
Yes.
Are we like 20 minutes into this episode already?
Yeah, we're
We
yeah,
are,
this is
almost.
we're 20 minutes
Jesus
and we haven't even talked about a
Christ.
single song.
All right,
we
let's
haven't
talk
talked
about
a single
some proper British music.
yes, our first song of the evening is Kaiser Chiefs Ruby.
So this is a perfect way to start because I thought that I didn't know this song, but I've definitely heard it somewhere, and I'm trying to figure out where that is.
It was in Guitar Hero 3.
It's probably that, plus it might have been in FIFA too.
That's possible.
FIFA. I mean, this was a big hit song. Like, this was a hit song on the alt stations. I remember hearing this pretty often as a kid. Like, it definitely crossed over.
Yeah,
you know,
I didn't
British people needed a Cold War Kids too.
Well, this is pre Cold War Kids though, as a thing.
I mean,
so
yeah,
Cold War Kids would be the American.
It's really hard for me to get the chronology of this era right. Like, I kept having to check, like, is this ripping off something, or did that just not come out yet? But like, the thing that's like hanging over all of this is like, Arctic Monkeys are really, really popular right now. Like, this is the year of the second Arctic Monkeys album coming out, so like, I think you can start to judge some of these bands as like trying to hold themselves up to that standard as they became like kind of the dominant band of this era.
I would also say there's a little bit of like the runoff of Britpop.
Oh, totally, yeah. A lot of this playlist is like the dawning of like 2010s indie sounds, like mixing with like 80s British like trash, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's definitely it's like Billy Joel meets like real estate or whatever, you know? Like, that zone is where a lot of this stuff is living in. And it's pretty gross a lot of the time, but also it's kind of vaguely catchy and mind-numbing in a certain way that can be appealing. I don't like this song. I think the bridge ruins it from being an okay song. Like, the bridge that we're about to get to is just like complete deflation. It like sucks all the energy out of the song, but the chorus is very good in a kind of like head empty sort of way. Like, if the British had the NFL, this is what they would play during like beer commercials, you know?
Definitely.
I mean, that's just like football.
I mean, that's why British indie music has such a hold over the FIFA soundtracks in particular. Is because it's like football is more popular there, so it like, and the indie sound is kind of more like, people that like sports also like stuff like Morrissey, you know. It's not quite as like divided between the jocks and the geeks as it would be in like America, you know.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of like this kind of music that like hooligans like, you know. And this is definitely, yeah. Like, the other thing I thought of is like, I checked the timeline to see when Starfucker came out, because this is like British Starfucker kind of.
Yeah. I will say,
but I like Starfucker better than this.
Obviously, the song, you know, I heard as a child. I do like this song. It's a good song. But my ex-girlfriend's dog is named Rudy, and so anytime I would go see her and see her dog, I'd be like, Rudy, 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 Rudy. That's just a fun story. He looks like he's a.
I have an even funnier thing than that. I have I don't know if this is true or this is my dumb brain making the connection. Almost certainly it's my dumb brain. There's like a 20% chance that this song is ripping off the final song from the SpongeBob movie, in which the chorus goes, "I'm a goofy, goofy, goofy goober, yeah." It's like
you're not wrong.
It's
you're
the
not
exact
wrong.
same cadence, right? Like, I'm not, and that's 2004 and then 2007. Like, it's not crazy. There's a chance.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong.
And now I can't unhear that. I also think it could be a really great that restaurant Ruby Tuesdays. If they're ever looking for a jingle, I think they gotta go.
They
with
have
this.
to. It's gotta be in an ad
at some fucking point. I didn't have time to pull it, but there is video of Gavin and I in one of our infamous high school Battle of the Bands doing a Kaiser Chiefs cover. I didn't want to pull it because it was an acoustic song where we slowed it down, so it would be boring for the pod. But maybe one day I'll rip it to YouTube and send it in the Discord. But this song is cute. I just have good memories of playing it in Guitar Hero. There's not much to say. It's just kind of a head empty, catchy song. I do agree with Jackie that the bridge kind of slows it down in a bad way, though.
also this is not for anyone listening. I'm sorry. Here's oh god, is it gonna blur Rudy? Here's Rudy giving me a hug. You see me?
Aww.
He's giving me a hug. I miss that little old bastard. He's old as hell. But let's keep it going. Let's keep moving. This is a band that I knew they were like British and a part of this wave, but still was like, oh yeah, like they were a part of this wave. But they're one of the few ones that have like kind of stuck around a little longer. Like, but they haven't put out a record in quite some time. I think the last record they put out was in 2017.
I think so, yeah.
But I do remember, this getting like a lot of attention on the subreddit on Indieheads. But let's listen to their song "She Is the New Thing." And I had not heard this one at all, but I will say,
Neither did I.
I like it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty decent. I like the distortion here.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either. I'm kind of in between.
Look, they're a band called the fucking Horrors. You know I like this band.
Of course.
Like that album art, it was fucking over. Like this was my jam in high school. The sick ass organ, the spookiness of it all.
It's very goth Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah. Holy shit.
that riff at the beginning, dun, 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 yeah, like very menacing, very. Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's just when I listen to the vocals of it, I'm just like, oh, I remember when I was really into post-punk a couple of years ago, and sometimes I regret that portion of my life a little bit, I think we let British men get away with yelling too much in music, and we need to reel it back just a little bit, even as a fan of it. This is part of my atoning for my sins here,
we are the people that came up with the gremlin mindset.
I was about to say,
much to
yes,
atone for.
We do. But like all those bands don't sound like that anymore, and I think that says something about like the default sound of it has to be more than just like shouting and some kind of menacing bass lines,
I don't know, Jackie, have you ever heard of a little band called Idols?
This is true. Who NME gave one of the best songs of the year to immediately after the Ken Barbie song, which I thought was so funny.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah,
we gotta talk. We gotta talk about this enemy list. We got.
Do we have to?
No, we do, because it's the British people.
It's British.
Yeah, I mean,
here's the thing. This is obviously a very accurate place of the times. None of us are British. None of us, were really we weren't in the trenches when this music was coming out. Totally, or at least maybe some of us were for some of these bands, as we'll get to. But yeah, let's look at this enemy list. So obviously the Pitchfork list is always the one that drives up the most discussion, the most discourse, and at the end of the day, this Pitchfork, I've accepted where they are editorially, and also like if you actually pay attention to their reviews, like if you like check out what they're reviewing every week, they review a pretty diverse set. You kind of just have to fill in the blanks of like, hey, if this got like a 7.4, the writer actually probably wanted to go way higher on it, and some of that's just privilege from being someone that has written for Pitchfork and knows what the process is like, and knowing, hey, I gave this record a 7.0, but in actuality, my feelings are this. I just went with a score because I knew the editors would pick it up if I went in this range. Nevertheless, the 50 best songs of 2023, according to Enemy, which this list is bad. Like, this is a bad list. I don't follow Enemy regularly, but even then, it's like this is ridiculous. Which this song, by the way, this is definitely kind of proto Gremlin in a way.
Before we get into the list, I just want to get into the
yes.
reason that the Horrors are on this episode. Back when I still had a dating profile before I met my boyfriend of nearly 8 years now, the hottest guy I've ever seen in my life messaged me and said I had one of the most charming accounts he's ever read, and that I reminded him of the Horrors. I said that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me, and he never responded ever again.
Oh,
damn.
Tough.
R.I.P.
Tough. Pain.
But you've been with your boyfriend for 8 years?
Yeah.
God damn. Hell yeah. I mean, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's
the first thing he ever said to me when we connected was, hey, I go out into the woods and I collect animal bones. You want to see? And boom, 8 years happy.
Beautiful stuff. We love goth, folks, don't we?
But I will say, for anyone, for like your boyfriend is the exception, because anyone else that says, hey, you want to go to the woods and check out some animal bones? they're probably a serial killer, or they want to be a serial killer.
Or Matty,
you got lucky.
Matty, or they're my client angel. Excuse you.
Like I said, there are exceptions.
Sometimes girls are just quirked up. It's fine.
Apologize
that
to
is
people
fair.
that collect bones, Matty.
I apologize to all people that collect bones except for Jeffrey Dahmer. Because
Not all
that's what he
people
did.
that collect bones are like the guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Anyways, let's move on to the next song.
Well, we
Speaking
gotta
of
go over this list.
massacres,
We gotta go over this list, though. We gotta go over this list before we do the next song.
We do. That's true. A little bit.
It's folks. Again, as you know, I've survived many a Listmas on the Indieheads subreddit.
you
and
ruined
I've learned
many a Listmas.
I apparently ruined Listmas for somebody by putting together a list of every time someone said no blank, which is very funny. Anyways, number 50 on this list is fucking Ryan Gosling. I'm just Ken. Which, here's the thing, people clown on this one, and rightfully so. Like, it works in the movie, it's fun in the movie, but like, BFFR, be for fucking real.
That
like,
you can't have 50 songs that you need to tack on like this bullshit. It's like, come on.
There's other songs on the Barbie soundtrack you could pick instead of this.
Maddie, they do need to make room for the new Rolling Stones song at number 19, only to be topped by a new Depeche Mode song at number 13 overall.
That's crazy.
I didn't even get to the Beatles. The Beatles Now and Then is their number 10 best song of the year. The AI Beatles song.
Beatles.
And we haven't even gotten to Blur, the Narcissist, at number 6. I said this on Twitter, but every year Listmas is an exercise in remembering that British people exist. And they have their own culture that is like ours, but there's an uncanny valley just different enough that every once in a while it will like jump scare out at you.
Because I think a good equivalent of that is that for us in the United States, like, we're big on Big Thief. We love Big Thief here in the U.S. They're one of the U.S. critics love Big Thief. Their equivalent is like Lankum. They love Lankum over there across the pond.
I did not know who Lankum were until 2 days ago.
I was only aware of them because we did some Reddit AMAs, but again, they British people. British, Irish, Scottish, people across the pond, they fucking love Lankum. They really love that band. I think one of our patrons, Taxon, is also a big Lankum head. Which again, no disrespect to Lankum. It's just we're pointing. Shout out to Taxon. We are just observing things and pointing.
Let's move on. I'll just real quickly before we go. I do. It is really important that we say this song is called "She Is the New Thing." And if they release this song today, they'd have to call it She They Is the New Thing.
Amen to that, Jackie.
Anyways,
amen to that.
Let's listen to Monster by The Automatic. Which, speaking of Uncanny Valley, this feels like if you made an AI only from the songs that I listened to in high school, but not actually any of them. Like, this is very much up my alley in sort of a we have foals at home sort of way.
Yeah, or like we have the Bravery at home. Which, are the Bravery British?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Every once in a while, someone will catch you off guard that you think is British just because they sing in a very affected way, and then you find out that they're not, and it's scary. I believe the Bravery are British.
I mean,
double check.
You're absolutely right on that, Jackie.
No, Bravery New York City band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like an Interpol. So it's like an Interpol kind of situation.
100% an Interpol situation.
Yeah.
There's
also a reason why the Hives are not on this episode, because finding out that they were not British was a mindfuck to me. This is on here because this is another one of those songs that was on Lego Rock Band. I don't think this band had any other hits other than that. I just want to say the music video to this one is really great.
Did you hear that the Hives have announced a project where they want you to start a Hives cover band so that they can quote-unquote franchise the Hives?
No fucking way.
Here's the thing, though, Jackie. This is a Death Grips idea. This is literally something that Zach Hill proposed in an interview in 2012.
Doing it, Matty.
Well, they're actually doing it, I know. But like Zach Hill was like, we want to send out like 4 Death Grips on the road. So, like,
it's a really funny idea.
I will say I would love to do
that.
But...
Wait, what the fuck? What is this picture? What is going on?
Okay, so listeners,
visual medium.
visual bit on audio
Visual bit.
podcasts. But I need you all to look up the Automatic on Spotify and look at their
Please.
artist photo, because this is one of the fucking worst. This is simultaneously one of the worst and best press photos I've ever seen.
It's the best. This is actually the best. If you're in a car right now, pull over and look this up. It's so good.
Do you think they had a fight on who gets to be the big guy?
This has to be the episode artwork.
Oh,
What
this
are we
is
doing?
absolutely the episode art. Just so you can see. There is a photo. So the photo is one of the members of the band holding up his hand, and in his hand is miniaturized versions of the rest of the band. The guy in the middle is wearing some very skinny. Actually, they're all wearing skinny jeans, but just varying levels of how skinny they are. The guy on the most right, I can't tell if he's wearing. I think it looks like he's wearing safety goggles. I don't know that for sure, but it just looks like it from this image. He's also wearing a T-shirt that I would think that Vanessa Hudgens would wear at Coachella in 2012.
He's
and then
also
two
got,
other
like,
nerdy guys.
He's got hair that I can only describe as early Ian from Smosh.
I was about to say the hair from the YouTube guys episode and the British indie rockers. There's some overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's holding
also the
James
guy-
Rolfe.
And also the guy who is holding up the members of the band, he's got one of those like the eyebrow piercings that were very hip during that era.
It also looks like there's just something about it that's so uncanny. Like, it looks like his eyes are watering and his head looks like it's like bigger than it should be. There's something like
He has no neck.
I think what's funny about this picture is that they clearly made this long enough ago that like Photoshop tools were just a little bit more primitive, but also they did a really good job with the technology available at the time. So it looks like professional enough, but it looks just a little janky. Like, it looks like 5% better than what I could do on like Snapchat real quick.
Yeah, early YouTube thumbnail type beat.
Yeah, 100%.
Which, by the way, I have. Which, looking at the artist page, of course, as you know on Spotify, if they're in playlists, it says featuring this band, and featuring the Automatic. Of course, the first two playlists are "This Is the Automatic," "The Automatic Radio," and "Ultimate FIFA Soundtrack."
What's up next to it, Matty?
I don't think
Headbanger Halloween.
The funny thing is that I had probably like 3 or we'll get into this on the FIFA episodes, but I didn't play there's a lot of FIFA, like they make a new version of the game every year with a new soundtrack. So I don't know every soundtrack the way that I know like most of the Rock Band soundtracks, but like I have a radar. Truly, I don't know who was like the music supervisor. That person had a very specific set of tastes and interests that I can only describe as average Los Campesinos listener. And like there's just a lot of music is my hot sex, I believe, is a song we've talked about in this podcast.
Yes.
That is like of
during
that
the Music
variety.
Is My Life episode.
Yeah. Like there's a very specific like British indie sensibility that I hear the song and I just immediately am reminded of it. But that's like the most joy I get out of this song is like recognition, and then immediately after that I'm kind of like it's whatever. Basically, my critique with this song is that if you're gonna sound kind of like Foles, either be Foles or be Megan Diaz Monster, and this isn't either of those things. They keep reminding me of Megan Diaz Monster, which is a better song than this, and I'm just like, no thank you.
Speaking of that song, they fucking re-recorded it last year, and me and Jackie didn't know.
We will things into
Megan
existence.
Diaz, by the way, not the Automatic.
We will things into existence all the time on this podcast, and that was a great example of it. We just Monster extended mix, because one of them has like a new career as like an EDM featured singer sort of deal.
Hell yeah,
which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, not as good as Megan Diaz Monster, but pretty good, pretty okay song. Very replacement level landfill indie.
All right, we
Halloween
probably
classic.
should not have talked. We should not have talked about this band because Grant decided to not pick the Hives because the Hives are Welsh, and also the Automatic. They're also a Welsh
Hold
rock
on.
band. They're Welsh.
Maybe they aren't. Maybe the Hives aren't Welsh because
I think the Hives are Welsh, but
Swedish. They're Swedish. That's why they're not on.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
Okay.
I was gonna say
Alright.
Welsh
Great.
isn't the same as British, but for the
It's close
purposes,
enough.
Yeah.
for the purposes of
For our
this,
purposes, it is.
UK extended universe. You know.
versus
Exactly.
Swedish people, which are just like uncanny valley British people,
Mhm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Is Wales? Is it a British territory or is it?
I believe it.
I believe
yeah, it is part of the United Kingdom.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is its
Okay.
own country with like its own like language and culture, but yes.
It's owned by the Brits. The Brits have the copyright on it for now. It's just like, what was that scummy ass fucking prescription guy that was in our group chat one time and said something and then just left?
Was his name? Yeah, fucking Martin Shkreli.
Yeah. It's one of those situations where, again, Britain,
I mean,
Martin
there's
Shkreli.
other words for than a Martin Shkreli situation, but yes, we'll go with
That's
that.
just the one. That's just the one that came to mind.
Colonialism, for example.
Colonialism, the original Martin Shkreli of the world.
Pull quote for the episode, folks.
All right, let's keep it going. Our next song is The Corals' "Dreaming of You." This is but in America they'd be called the Carl, but in Britain they say Coral.
This is clearly some rockabilly ass post British stuff, you know, like post punky. And I have to say something here that I have to do something I never thought I would do on this podcast ever. I'm gonna hand it to Morrissey.
Oh no! Jack,
I really didn't want to under any circumstances. Stuff like this makes me be like, okay, well at least he's good at it, you know? I don't like Morrissey's deal, but like I get it more than I get this. This is just obnoxious. This is like,
oh yeah, this is good. This is bad. This is a bad
this
song.
is not a good song. I heard this one in Scrubs, and this was also on the fucking Lego Rock Band soundtrack.
But I can flip it around and just get mad at Morrissey for this because this is his fault, you know?
Yeah. This is like Baby's first bass riff. This polka ass shit in the background, and the saxophone doing the exact same riff.
I mean, it just sounds like trying to do What's New Pussycat when you're blocked the fuck out.
This is a song that could only be performed by a bunch of guys in like plastic Elvis wigs at like a Chuck E. Cheese type beat. This is not good
This
at all.
is a hot cross buns ass bass line.
I just love that we're like fucking Arx K nephew, just making fun of the beat. Like,
This is a Grandmaster Flash beat.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna look up pictures of these guys and see if they think they have swag.
Let's see. There is this photo, and oh my god.
Oh Jesus Christ!
This is
upsetting.
This is an upsetting
It's
photo on the
giving
Spotify
like
page.
Mumford and Sons on Casual Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at because they're all wearing like Hawaiian t-shirts or something that is adjacent to it.
Five white boys who think they're Wes Anderson kind of beat.
Yeah, this is upsetting. This is oh god. This is, although I will say all these guys, like, this is just what the average St. Louis citizen just looks like now. Like, I went to a Narrowhead show in St. Louis and I saw a lot of guys that look like this. I cannot lie. Maybe with less skinny jeans, a little baggier, but the haircuts,
this
the
is
beards,
definitely a non-British, like, they have a very Americanized British. You know what they all look like? They all look like Michael Fassbender in The Killer, like German tourist.
Yes.
Oh my
definitely.
god, this band description is like insufferable.
Oh god, yeah. Let's read this.
Thanks to the craft.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Thanks to their knack for crafting sneakily good hooks, the jangling interplay of the guitars, and James Skelly's powerful vocals. Where are the powerful vocals? I didn't hear them on that song.
This person is trying to like For basketball enjoyers will remember when Tracy McGrady scored 12 points in 4 seconds, and that guy is trying to do this with like PR bio cliches. Like he's trying to get every single one of them up as quickly as possible. This is like if I was trying to write a parody of what my most phoned in PR bios I've ever written are like. It's this basically. It's so on the nose.
Yeah, I'm only going to read the first paragraph because this is too fucking long.
Yeah.
There's too many words here. Continuing on, the Coral are one of the most consistently enjoyable and unpredictable bands of their era. Their rambunctious sound definitely mixes elements of 60s garage rock, psychedelic pop, and folk rock, spicing it with bits of Mersey beat, Motown, vintage blues, and even sea shanties.
Where?
Fuck you. Fucking, we're gonna.
These guys
Who wrote
made an
this?
album with Jeff
Tim
Moore.
Sindra, and Timothy Monger. I'm gonna bleep that.
Those are their real names. Those are at the end of the bio. Anyways,
Yeah.
the Portishead guy made an album with these guys according to this bio, which makes me think
God.
less of the Portishead guys. Yeah, Jeff Barrow and Adrian Utley made an album with the Coral.
What? Oh my
But this is the thing, is that like things that can seem like objectively cool to us from an American perspective are just the good version of a thing that can also really suck. And I think that's what this playlist like gets at, is that like not all this music is bad, and some of these bands or kinds of song can be done pretty well, and some of these are even good executions of it, but it's like all of them are in some way or another like a we have this at home for something that's like
This is British
good.
AJR.
That's what it is. You know what?
It's
yeah,
not
like,
that bad. It's more like British the Revivalist. It's not that
okay,
bad.
I wasn't gonna say AJR. It's more. I mean, Cold War Kids are like Too Good, which is where you know this band is at. But like a band in the post White Stripes, Black Keys sort of era that was like doing garage rock revival, but like in a really hollow and kind of shitty way. You know, like El King, X's and O's type. Car commercial music, and this is just the British version of that, where it's like they can list off a bunch of cool influences, you know, but at a certain point, if you can't turn those into something that isn't just Drek, I think it's like. But I mean, I'm saying this now, but I also need to once again return to the beginning premise of this podcast and admit that like. In 2012, I listened to Jake Bugg and thought it was good. So like, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm entirely.
That's a name
above
to give
this.
like psychic damage.
Maddie, I saw Jake Bugg at the first Coachella I ever went to.
That's right. Oh,
I am familiar with the stylings of Jake Bugg, whose whole thing was just like, I'm a young person who has heard Bob Dylan. That was his entire thing. And you know what?
God.
Got him pretty far.
That's true. That is true. All right, let's keep it going. This is one of the heavy. We got a couple of heavy hitters coming in on this one.
Yeah.
Some of these first bands are kind of like
Guess
one hit wonders.
This is one of the bands
landfill.
that I listen to a lot.
Oh boy. Our next band and song is the Kooks with Naive.
The Kooks, Maddie, not the
Kooks. The Kooks.
There are 2 O's in that name, Maddie. They're not the Kooks.
We're doing this one a little later than we're recording this a little later than we usually.
They're kooky, they're quirky, they're the Kooks. They're not the Kooks.
I am being attacked right now because I just barely mispronounced the name because I was just trying to rush through the intro.
I am Kook-splaining to you already before you even started.
You're again as your judge, jury, and executioner. You're not meeting the allegations so far.
This is tough. This is really tough because I swear I do not like this song. Like, this is my least favorite of all the big hits from this first Kooks album, and I like the second album more in a Room on Fire, Is This It sort of situation. But I also think this is just like, the reason why this is the biggest hit is because this is the most James Blunt like song Kooks ever wrote. Like, this is just British You're Beautiful. Like, that's all it is.
Well, You're Beautiful is already British, is the thing.
Oh fuck, he is right. God damn. So that's
James Blunt's British.
But it's like that, like when British people regurgitate like stuff from like soul and like blues, it gives me the ick now, even though I used to eat it up as a child. And I think this particular song, even though I went back to some other Kooks songs like Seaside and Sofa Song, and particularly the stuff on their second album Conk, where my Conk girlies at. But like Mr. Maker on their second album Conk, that's like my favorite Kooks song. But like this is okay. He's doing too much like of that. Ooh, yeah, he's feeling himself as a vocalist way too much in a very James Blunt kind of way, and you can like hear how hot he thinks he is through the song for sure.
I will say this is on here. This was a huge fucking hit. I heard this a lot. I do agree with Jahi that this is not their best work. That being said, in high school, I always said, I want a British indie BF who will sing this song to me, and so it will always have a place in my little heart. Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't mean to say a slur. They have to censor again.
Good,
Matty.
thank you. I will say. I have something I want to say, but I'll probably. I need the song
Matty. Say it.
So of course, as we all know, the now disgraced former Congressman George Santos.
Okay, where's this going on the British episode, Matty?
George Santos is of course on Cameo. He's on Cameo now, and so I've been seeing some of his cameos on my For You page, and I just don't want to say
Okay, Matty, let's just take it back, put it in reverse, beep, beep, beep. Let's go back down the Austin Powers hallway. Let's like turn around very slowly.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this. We're gonna have this. I'm going to just cut to your guys' reactions as I finish this joke. I don't want any judgment from you two because again, this is a joke that I imagine one of you two would
Matty,
make.
how
at
many
one
times
point.
have I given you a slur pass that you have not used? Like, you can say it.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. One offensive joke later.
Yeah, I understand. No, yes, Matt, we understand.
You're not wrong.
It's just I look at him.
Whether you should say it is another question, but you're not wrong. I think now it'd be very funny for our listeners to try to figure out what that is, assuming you just bleeped to right here. Anyway,
Yes. All right, there we go. Naive the Kooks.
Oh no.
What?
I'm seeing what's next, and I'm scared.
Oh God.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, the Kooks were great. There's some like. We have to account for their mainly the thing I think about with the Kooks is that like they're responsible for Catfish and the Bottlemen and stuff like that, and for they have to be held accountable for their crimes.
Yes.
But like this is that, but like actually good in the way that it is managing to marry like the indie stuff with like the classic Britpop sort of stuff is really where this sits at.
Yes.
I think that and we sort of talked about this with the indie video, but like all of this music is synonymous with the era of my life when I had a playlist in Spotify that was like indie something like the word indie was the defining umbrella by which I was defining what would qualify as being in this playlist. And I can even find that I think I renamed it to something else that related to like high school. Yeah, I did. But like this was literally my like indie music playlist at the time, and I think I've sent it to you before. But there's a lot of the Wombats, as we'll get to in a moment.
Hell yeah!
A lot of other stuff.
Which I will say, the Kooks. My college station love the Kooks. We literally have like a sweeper that's just like 89.9 is the Kooks. And also my station manager,
And yet you
which
couldn't fucking pronounce the name right, huh, man?
Oh,
I just didn't.
I don't know why I decided to become like such. I'm not beating the allegations.
You're not beating
It's
the
true.
allegations. I'm your judge. You need to be nice
It's
to
true.
me.
I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to.
You're
get
not
off.
making a good case for yourself. But also, my station manager fucking loves Catfish and the Bottlemen too. So I think my former boss shares kind of the same like potential brain disease that you had when it came to like British indie of this time.
For whatever reason, and I think maybe it is even because I wasn't that big of a Beatles fan. I as a teenager who was not raised by like Beatles parents, like my dad is a The Who, The Stones, Talking Heads guy more than he's like a Beatles guy in any meaningful way. So because of that, like that music is not like childhood associated for me. But because I wasn't raised on a diet of Beatles music, anytime like Portugal the Man would just like rip off the Beatles, I would like lose my fucking mind because I guess I was thinking that they like invented the Beatles, you know? And so I think that is part of why I like a lot of this stuff, is because they can just jack music that I hadn't heard yet and get me to like it before I had better taste.
Oh God. Well, again, we got another heavy hitter coming up. It's the Wombats. Let's dance to Joy Division.
I said this to my host before this episode, but like the smile that is already starting to come across my face, like I really wish I wasn't doing a bit here. Truly, this makes me happy on a lizard brain level, where I am able to fully dissociate from the fact that the lyrics of this are cringe. That part of my brain is shut off before a word of this song happens because of how much I like the beginning of it. That now he can say anything cringe he wants about being in late wrong generation and wanting to dance to Joy Division. I don't care. I'm fucking bopping. I'm dancing. I'm having a great time. This is so good. I love this song so fucking much. God damn it. I'm not ashamed. I'm not.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
listen,
fun enough.
Listen, is this from an album called The Wombats Proudly Present ... a guide to love, loss, and desperation? Yes. Yes, that's what the name of this album is. Did I?
All right, I'm back. I want to beat him with hammers. Well, I want to beat him with hammers for a variety of reasons. So I'm gonna spill some tea.
Go ahead.
So we did an AMA with them during their last record, which I think I want to say is like, let's see, I want to say it's 2021.
They keep releasing albums that I pretend to not see exist, but yes.
2022. And if you remember, in 2022, this was like peak crypto, peak NFT shit.
100%.
And they went in on that. They had like some kind of Wombats NFT, and we had already like booked the AMA before like that stuff became public. And as I was like putting together the announcement for the AMA, I saw the NFT shit, and I'm like, I can't just last minute cancel this with like no reason.
I almost forgot this album existed, but I am immediately being like, oh yeah, that's right. I tried to memory hold this immediately, even though I didn't listen to it, because I could tell from the track list that this is clearly a like they go political album based on the
no.
There's a song on here called Method to the Madness. There's a song called Fix Yourself Then the World. There's a song called Don't Poke the Bear. It's just like, I'm scared. I don't want to hear Wombats do social commentary. I've already heard Let's Dance to Joy Division and Techno Fan and all of these songs that like depict this life of Britishness that was it was basically so foreign to me that it just felt like watching a fucking like, I don't know, like watching that movie Submarine or whatever. It just felt like a whimsical little place that was different and quirky. And like I said before, I didn't like Blink-182, but I loved this shit. And that is so much dorkier than liking the band that talks about jerking off, you know? I was trying a little too hard, but I also wanted there to be music to have fun to, which is why the Wombats, this is the other truly embarrassing thing, and this is why I can never claim any kind of punk credibility, and I don't even try to, is that the first time I ever moshed was in a Wombat set.
Oh God!
Yucky.
I was like, oh wow, I was in a mosh pit. That was not what it was. It was some people jumping up and down.
It was
and
a push
having
pit.
Hell yeah.
I'm calling it a push pit's even a little bit generous, but
It's like if Ivan was there when it happened, he would make fun of you on Twitter.
of course, I'm giving Ivan ammo right now, but I love Ivan, and I also don't try to pretend like I'm not like this, you know. Even though I am supposed to be beating the allegations today. Listen, I will say it falls off a cliff so fucking hard. Like the degree to which this album and then like 1/4 of the next album was all it ever was for me. And it didn't even take me like growing up and developing better tastes. But then also their 2015 album Glitterbug is just like the ultimate example of mid 2010s overly glitzed up post Passion Pit synth pop record, just really disgusting. And then the album after that, Beautiful People Will Ruin Your Life, I don't think I've ever listened to. I've heard that it's not that bad, and I don't want to know if I feel that way about it, you know.
This is going way back to something you said, but when anytime that you or anyone that I know is like, I'm not like this, I of course go back to our favorite deleted tweet, which is from Tug and Bone Man.
Yeah.
Saw my old history teacher in a pub toilet with Bronson round his suitor, dribbling like a toddler, telling me I'm not like this. LOL.
I mean,
I'm so pissed he deleted that.
It's he only because we found it.
Sometimes you really be. It's not like this, you know. That really.
I mean, thankfully, I do have it screenshotted forever. So anytime I need to post it, it is.
When y'all started,
it is available.
Like retweeting it, he started quote tweeting it with like cry laughing emojis, and then one day he just fucking deleted it.
I guess he got embarrassed at a certain point. I don't know. He thought we were making fun of him. We were laughing with him, not at him.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Tug and Bone Man. All right.
Another British enemy of the pod.
I will also say while we're wrapping up Wombats talk, the Wombats logo is the most mid 2000s thing in the world in just like the worst way. It looks like some shit that's like pre Etsy craft store. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Look at this font. Look at the hair. Look at the font.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
the Wombat hair.
I'm trying to remember when the Wombats like came up on the podcast, or whether it was just me talking to Matty, which those things blur. But I'm pretty sure
we talked about their hair on an episode I was on. But I don't remember
I'm pretty
what it
sure
was.
I said this at the time, which is that the Wombats lead singer during like early Wombats years looks a little bit like our friend Alex if we gave Alex the Cure hair.
Yes, I remember that.
It's like if you put a wig on Alex.
Yeah. If me and Alex got into the Brundlefly era fly machine.
Oh my god.
Oh, I miss Alex.
I do too. I was listening to an old episode the other day, and I was like, okay, hopefully at some point we'll get them back on.
Yeah, but let's keep it going. Okay, so this one, oh god, is great. This is a very stupid question.
I was trying to pull up a picture of the Wombats, Matty, and I saw a headline that says the Wombats, I think we're the first band to get dropped by a major label and then get bigger. And I just my eyes rolled into the back of my head so far that I regret everything I just said.
That's like not true. That's happened. That still happens like so often today. Like that happened to fucking what? Like that's happening right now to like Chapel Rowan.
Assume that that was made with logic in mind.
True. My stupid question. This is not the original song, right? Like this is a cover of the Amy Winehouse.
No,
song.
the Amy Winehouse version is the cover
of this.
Yeah, this is why this is on the episode instead of Amy.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, our next song is Valerie the Zutons. Okay, yeah, because I couldn't tell because like. Oh, God, sorry. That's like okay. I need a minute. I need a minute.
No, I had a similar reeling moment with this because there's something so surreal about. I think this is going back to the British people's obsessed with the blues and Americana thing. That like it's so weird to have something covered by an American that then makes it feel more authentic, but then like the original version is like this outsider like fetish object of Americana, like but then actually becomes like an American classic because someone way better than this guy sings it. But you're so right to think that it is a cover because you can just imagine British dudes being like, "Oh, Amy Winehouse did it, but I'm gonna do my version of it." Like it so reads as male ego.
Yeah, this is, oh my god. This is again, I have learned so many upsetting facts on this podcast, of course. This is amongst the most upsetting facts that I've ever learned, that
British
this
culture hides among our culture in regular
Yes.
sight every day, and we should be a little more skeptical of it, because I think learning this was also fascinating to me. A lot of the reason why British bands, particularly of the 80s and onward, have such a outsized impact on American popular culture is because when MTV started, the music video already existed as like an art form in Britain before it had taken off fully in America. So when MTV started, they literally just like needed to fill hours of the day because music videos hadn't become like the dominant way to promote music. So like all of those British bands like the Smiths and like the Cure and whatever that like were already making music videos, they had like a head start on it, so that when MTV started, a disproportionate amount of the bands that were played on MTV were British. And like that's exactly what I'm getting to as far as breaking the spell of Anglophilia. They're only cool if you like don't listen to other countries' music. They're only cool if you keep the pool very shallow and you don't listen to, you know, music made not by white people. And very quickly you can realize that not all of these guys have sauce. Some of them are Robert Smith and they have sauce.
yes.
Not all of them do. And the sooner you can see past the charming British accent or the non-charming British accent and really get to the bottom of, is this a good song or not? I mean, the fact that this guy wrote this song does make it makes it harder for me to hate it, because it is really good bones of a song, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
the basis of this is a good song, and then Mark Ronson and Amy Winehouse made it into a good song, but the original is not very good.
No, again, it's, which I think the reason why I'm like so perplexed is that there's no swag in this. There's no swag whatsoever.
Yeah, this sound
Like,
feels
it's too
like
it's-
one of those like YouTube covers of like, what
It
if
does.
this song was this genre?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't fault y'all for not knowing this was the original, because Amy just blew this out of the water, you know?
I mean, again, because obviously Amy Winehouse and Mark Ronson at the
It
time,
really
of
is
course.
one of the
'cause
great
it was-
examples of like, oh, that person stole this song now. Like, sorry, person that wrote it, you don't get it anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the
it's-
song that should have the Johnny Cash 9 Inch Nails kind of legacy around it.
Which is the thing, because I think people just don't realize that there is an original version of Valerie. I think they just assume it's an Amy Winehouse song.
Well, yeah.
And rightfully so, because she fucking takes that song and makes it hers. But,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right. Let's keep it moving. This is a band that, of course, have
Actually,
loomed
Matt,
large.
real quick, I was just gonna say that I was looking at the song on Wikipedia, and it was used in the 2006 FIFA World Cup as
Oh, fucking course
as
it
one of the
was.
songs.
Of fucking course it was. Oh,
It all comes
God.
back.
All right, let's keep it moving. As I was saying, this band is definitely a big tentpole band for the British indie music scene of its time. I never got into this band. All I know is that their front man is just a mess of a man, and sometimes when let's say a front person of a band or a band is just kind of a fuck up. Sometimes the songs can back up the fuck uppery. I think for a while this was Kanye West, where that dude was a fuck up, but man, those albums were great until they weren't, and then he went off the deep end. I listened to this and I'm just like, you guys put up with this fucking guy for this long over these songs? Okay. And of course I am talking about the Libertines with the song Can't Stand Me Now.
I will say, I have revealed a lot of very lame things. I thankfully was not a fan of this band ever. Not because I was like, I'm too good for that. I just dodged the bullet of being exposed to them at the wrong age where I might have liked this. And I don't like it now, so bullet dodged.
Yeah, this is not very good. I'm not a fan of this. The only reason this is here is because I distinctly remember watching some sort of VH1 crappy countdown of the most shocking rock moments. They talked about Pete Doherty taking a syringe of his own blood and shooting it at the camera during an interview, and I was like, that guy seems like a major fucking prick. And it turns out I was right.
Yeah, the word crack cocaine comes up really early in the Wikipedia. They don't even get to like the personal life section.
I did not want to mention crack at all, but if they're saying it, then
Matty, it comes up. It does. It's not even in the personal life like controversy. It's not in a section down. It is in the pre-history opening paragraph about this band.
It's just like, yeah, Pete Doherty is a fucking crackhead. Like,
there are two paragraphs, and then it gets to, in spite of their critical and commercial success, the band's music was often eclipsed by its internal conflicts, stemming from Doherty's addictions to crack cocaine and heroin, which eventually led to the breakup of the band.
The link to crack cocaine shows up in their Wikipedia before their record label.
It's exactly like the Vincent Price Wikipedia page linking to bisexuality.
Yes.
Like, this guy was doing so much cocaine that they have to put the page for crack cocaine as a reference point in the first paragraph. I don't want to make fun of this guy's drug addiction too much more, but he doesn't seem like a nice guy. So at some point you can't keep cutting people slack.
There was an article that I saw posted on Indieheads. He did an interview pretty recently, and the headline was like pretty, like, it was like, oh man, let me pull it up real quick just so I'm not talking out of my ass.
Oh, in a 2022 interview with Enemy, of course, he stated that he had been clean since December 2019. So,
that's good. Again, the headline is Pete Doherty says he's a very sick man and death is lurking, which that's hard as fuck. I gotta say, that's pretty hard.
I was gonna say, like, is it like, oh, I'm sorry for like how things were and I've gotten better now? But it seems like, because like in this opening paragraph where it talks about that, he says that he has stated that the reason why the brand broke up was because of difficulties between him and Bri'ish and not because of his drug addictions, which reads as someone who is still addicted to drugs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the song is awful.
It's really not good.
Sorry to the British people that are listening. This is awful.
Their first album is produced by The Clash, and when you learn that, it makes everything about this band make sense in terms of just like, we have The Clash at home. It also really gives like, it doesn't at all sound like krautrock, but it does sound like they've heard Can and they kind of want to do something like that, but they don't know how, you know?
Yeah.
It's like it's minimal, but not in a cool way. It's just kind of Go Girl giving us nothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a guy that wanted to be Mick Jones, but he's barely a Joe Strummer, you know? It's just not very good.
That's exactly it, yep.
Yeah, what else can you say after that? So let's keep it moving, because I do think we get this again. I'm very grateful that we're ending this playlist with like some bangers, which the last two for sure. And I need to listen to this as we're talking, and then I can kind of confirm, like, I'm like, I think I like this song when I heard it today. So our next song is The Cribs with Men's Needs. I dug this one. I
don't like the hook. Or again, this is like British people shouting, gotta fucking tone it down. However, the riff and the bass line at the beginning of this are really sick. The beginning hooks me every time this came out on the playlist. It's definitely one of the better songs I hadn't heard before.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember if this is when Johnny Marr was a member of this band.
That would check out.
I really love this song. I love this band. Unfortunately, I heard about them through a split EP they did with the now canceled former one of my favorite bands, the Thermals. Which
no.
Yeah, but luckily, the Cribs have still been putting out some pretty decent music. This album in particular, I was always a big fan of. I've been a fan of this one, and like I'm a Realist, and a bunch of other tracks on it, obviously. But this is the best song on the album, I think, and I do really like this. I kind of agree with Jackie. I don't love the screaming, but
the album
it's
title being what's it called? Men's Needs and hold on, what is it? Men's Needs, Women's Needs, whatever is a terrible 2007 ass album title, and
I kind of like it though. But I kind of like
album
it.
artwork is so bad though, Matty. It's
not good album
The
art.
font is really not good.
Yeah. Which, oh my god, I believe so. This is which. Let's get some facts. Number one, this was Johnny Marr had not joined the band yet. He joined the band after this album came out. He joined the band in 2008 for their next record in 2009.
It does give the Modest
this?
Mouse album with Johnny Marr though. Like that is what the guitars sound like.
But who produced this record? But Alex Capranos of Franz Ferdinand. So I definitely hear his influence on this. Like I hear like the way the guitars sound.
Yes.
Like I see why Johnny Marr wanted to join this band, and I see like how this stacks up against like your Franz Ferdinands. And also, unless I'm mistaken, this is a brother band. They all have the same last name.
Yep. They are a brother band. I believe they're on. I shouldn't mention the project. I don't know if it's officially out yet, but I believe they're on Gavin's brother band roster.
Oh yeah. Which we don't have to say too much, but that is a project that has kind of been in the background of
this is
sort of
the
brother band series.
The Jarman family. Gary Jarman, Ryan Jarman, and Ross Jarman.
God, I literally like this band, the Cribs. They have like a sub label within Pios, which is a label I work with at my job pretty often, and we worked like a ton of Cribs stuff in 2021. Did not realize they were a brother band. I think I knew that they were twins, but I didn't realize that it was all brothers, which that's hilarious.
The kind of yelly vocals that I don't really love. I think I've kind of nailed what it is. It's the British equivalent of the West Mud voice, like they.
Oh yeah,
they don't have,
which is why I probably like it.
Yeah,
they never got proper butt rock, like even though nu metal hit. They didn't get hit with like post grunge seemingly in the same way. It seems to be like a very American distinct phenomenon. And so because of that, a lot of what they end up pulling from is like Catfish and the Bottlemen guys trying to just shout their way through to emotion in a very butt rocky sort of way, but with none of the like cultural like Call of Duty type signifiers, it's like we're trying to be like hip cool British people, but we're also trying to do that while just being dudes like shouting indistinctly, and it's okay. It's just something that I've kind of grown out of a little bit as a music fan, but this is definitely like one of the better executed, and like Matty was saying, like the guitar and also the bass is really good on this.
But again, next song here, with this fucking we are in heaters territory with these next two songs for 100% sure. Next song, Block Party, Helicopter.
I mean,
I get again, this one is I would have maybe put a different song on here instead of this one, but like this song's a fucking banger.
Matty. And Betray Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock.
That's true.
That's
true. That's true. Is this the one they did on Conan? Or is that a different one?
I'm sure it is.
I think so, yeah.
If that's the case, then I was wrong. This is the right song.
This is the one. I love this. We were talking about this the other day, about this album and some people that like don't get the hype of it. And I think the key thing is that like I don't think Bloc Party are like an amazing band as much as I think that this one album, there's something about the way that it's mixed and produced that just strikes a fucking animal lizard brain part of me that like the Rapture are a better band than Bloc Party, but the Rapture don't have almost any songs that scratch this particular part of my brain the way that like the slightly mathy, slightly post-punky guitar drum situation sound in this album. But it also, the thing I thought about this time listening to it is like they also managed to figure out a way to make that make sense in the era where like Paramore was happening, right?
Yeah.
Like this,
Which is funny because
very...
Bloc Party just opened for Paramore on a tour this year.
Yeah, I know. Like the cycle has come full circle. It's kind of why I was thinking about it, but like, I really do think that like you can hear it kind of engaging with American, even though this comes before Riot does. So it can't have probably been the case, but you know what I mean? Like the first Paramore album comes out in 2005 also, and it's just like that kind of post MCR sort of vibe in the air.
Yeah.
MCR is also a year later. I'm getting my... See, this is the thing.
You're getting your
2000s,
timeline mixed up.
I was a baby. I was a child. And so because of that, basically all of this I ended up coming to late by some degree or another. Like even the bands that I followed in the time, I usually did not get into them on like their first breakout record because I was, again, a child. Mm-hmm. So, because of that, for this whole episode, I kept having to look up, like, fuck, when did that come out? Am I right even a little bit about this? And a lot of the times it was like, no. But there was a lot going on in this whole period, and I think in this middle part of the 2000s especially, it was just kind of a gray area between eras where a lot of different stuff was fighting for attention, and so... I think you just have like kind of a weird mishmash of different but also the same ideas going on in this playlist.
Mm-hmm. This song is so good.
It's so good.
This was the first song me and Gavin ever failed out of on Guitar Hero together. It's amazing.
I mean, again, this song is sick. Like there's so many things working here. Like, obviously, number one, Kelly, he's just, as a vocalist guitarist, he's just fucking killing it right now.
Those
Matt
drums
Tong,
are so good on this.
Matt Tong on the drums, holy shit, he's doing crazy shit on the drums on this one. Like, there's a number of bands out there when like a certain member leaves, like that band is they're just forever different. Like they're just not the same band anymore. It doesn't have to be like a founding member. Like Matt Tong is not a founding member of the band. Like he joined because like I think they just put up an ad and he just auditioned and just joined the band from there. But like as soon as he left, like the band changed. Like that's where people point to, like, okay, that's where this band like got bad, is when he left.
But I have one really cool little bit of music history. It's not even a sample, but they have credited, and this is like on the Wikipedia page and everything. Matty, if you pull up The Jam, the 80s band The Jam, have a song called Set the House Ablaze. And if you pull that song up and play it, you will see they cribbed this riff a little bit.
Let's see.
They borrowed generously, is what I'll say.
They ripped off this riff. I mean, I think they did pretty. Again, they did a good job like recontextualizing it, but like they ripped
really
it.
Smart is they're just like, what if we played this really fast? That's basically the whole song, and it was really smart. Like, and I think the other thing that you can hear in this is that even though the guitar sound is very similar, the way it's produced relative to the drums is so different, and like the modern like compression of the Bloc Party sound and the way that like the guitars are like pushed through the drums is so different than like this, where you can hear the guitar feels like very separate, you know, like you can kind of hear the different instruments in a more kind of classically mixed sort of way, whereas Bloc Party, it's like borderline dance music. Like it really is pushing the sound of it as close to like house music or whatever as possible. Like it's really getting full on dancey with it, and I love that shit. Like dance punk has always been shit that I love. Like when Matty and I saw we were at the Gilla Band show with me, right?
Yes.
When they close with the cover of the Blah One song, the Why'd They Hide Their Bodies in My Garage, like that's the most fun I had at any show in the last year.
Oh my god! That set was so good. That was this. Oh god, that was this.
I think it was right.
Yeah, it was back in February
because the most normal tour was the year after.
It was back. Yeah, it was back in February, and that was again sick show. Like Gilla Band, one of our best live bands. I love Gilla Band. I think they're They are a band that I could go on about for ages because I do think they're like one of the more influential bands of the last couple years. Like, I don't think you have this current like British post-punk scene without them kind of, paving some of those paths for those bands. But nevertheless, one more song on here, and this one, I mean, hey, look, I'm just gonna play it. I'm gonna turn up the volume. We're just gonna play it because you're gonna know it. It's the fucking Darkness. I believe in a thing called love.
If they had the NFL in the UK.
Oh yeah, this is a jock jam, but like one of the best jock jams ever made.
Yeah, this is my favorite song on the episode. I've talked about a lot of music that I do really love and have nostalgic attachments to, but fuck that shit. I just want to rock and roll, and this is the best song ever.
Yeah, I think as much as I talked shit earlier in the episode about like British people fantasizing about American culture and making it lame, this is kind of the opposite, where like they clearly understand how fucking ridiculous America stuff is, and they're like, we've listened to a ton of classic rock and we're gonna do some campy bullshit, and it's wonderful. I really like this. I highly recommend for anyone that didn't read it. Brad Shoup reviewed this record for Pitchfork earlier this year, and it's so good. It's like not even like an old school snarky Pitchfork review, but it just like manages to be really funny without like just taking cheap shots. It's like an 8.2 review. The review is very positive, but like it's really funny at the same time.
I just want to say, The Darkness, another brother band.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god,
right.
The opening line. I was like, I knew this. I had a memory of the review being good, but I pulled it up. The opening line: "The Darkness pursued rock stardom the same way people nowadays strive to be pro running backs or music journalists, headlong and without care for how the position is currently valued."
Oh my god!
I fucking meant
that's
also,
exactly what it is. Like I think that's the difference between The Darkness and Greta Van Fleet. Greta Van Fleet are hyper aware of the fact that they live in Le Wrong generation, right? Like their whole music is like a political stance. No one told The Darkness that it wasn't 1989 anymore. Like they are acting like, of course everyone is gonna love us doing this because this is the best music, you know? Like it is so sincere and like unbothered by perception.
Yeah,
like 100%.
They were like, what if Greta Fleet was authentic with their love for classic rock? They're like, what if Måneskin was funny? They're like, what if I already forgot the name, Steel Panther? They're like, what if Steel Panther didn't suck? This is the best band to do like classic rock worship outside of Ben Camaro, which is also amazing.
Three different bands that Brad cites as American counterpoints are Sadenside, Tenacious D, and Steel Panther.
Ugh.
But because he says the Darkness were distinguished by their ambition. In sound and bearing, they presented as chart royalty. They were committed to the bit on a cellular level.
Amen.
And that's really the big difference, is that like they were very much like self-aware that they were kind of sending up classic rock stuff, but not making it so obvious, right? Like they found this perfect mixture of like, we're self-aware that we're doing this, but we're also taking it very, very seriously.
They remembered the important part of being classic rock is that you gotta have to fucking rock and make it good, you know?
Yeah, they commit to the bit. Again, they fully committed to the bit. They didn't try to do some Marvel like, ooh, that happened bullshit. Like, oh, haha, we're doing this, right? Like Steel Panther, fuck that. Mm-hmm. It's just we are going to do all these classic rock tropes, but we're going to take them 100% seriously, and we're barely going to acknowledge that we're doing these.
I seriously can't. I just keep reading lines. I can't get off how many bangers he got off in this. Like a Kerrang approved Sparks is a line from this review.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's such a baller line.
That's poetic. That is like perfect. I was gonna say they were like a bunch of dads that just woke up in their 20s again and decided to go for it.
Mm. Also, I think we've mentioned this on the pod before, but Justin Hawkins, from what I've heard and what we've watched, maybe a video or two, it's got a pretty good YouTube channel. Does some pretty good analysis of songs, modern songs, older songs, like, and I think that's really the big thing is that like him and the rest of the band, they're just really well informed about music history, and they're not like trying to shut themselves off from current music or anything like that. Like they're hyper aware of what's happening currently. And yeah, although of course, take a shot, Todd in the Shadows. Great
Amen.
video on this song. Great video on the song for One Hit Wonderland. Again, there was a time, of course, where Justin Hawkins was living the bit a little too seriously when he did have like a major drug addiction,
Yes.
drug and alcohol addiction. I do believe he's clean now, thankfully. Band's back together again. Things are going well for them. As I believe that, they put out a record in 2021. I want to say. Let me double check Spotify. They
Yes.
put a record in 20. Streaming of a White Christmas. That's a live
The
record.
other
Okay.
really important detail that I learned from this review, because I have not listened to this whole record. I mean, as much as I am enjoying this, I enjoy it in very small doses because, as I think I've said many times in the podcast, like Queen AC/DC core is not a bone I have in my body, unfortunately. It's just never been even at my most like playing Guitar Hero, loving Metallica phase of my listening. Even then I was like, Queen kind of sucks. But I got to admit that instead of people like trying to tell me that Queen is really deep and important when I thought that shit was always goofy, these guys are making a song called Physical Sex with the lyrics, "'Cause a fuck should be multisensory and you can't smell an email."
Hell yeah.
These guys were just like, they're cartoon caricatures, but it's like exactly the right mix of, you need to be just smart and perceptive enough to like understand how your song fits into pop culture more largely, so that you're not like completely daft, but then also you need to have your head be just empty enough to be able to say things like quote, Friday night was an academic exercise. Quote, lyrically, I realized that people like songs with lists in them. So he just started listing off, I got ping pong on Wednesday, needlework on Thursday. But he's just listing off things like understanding, okay, people like this thing, and my head is empty enough that I can just do that thing and not really be self-conscious about it. And that's where the magic happens, baby.
Amen to
There we
that.
go. All right, there we go. Proper Bri'ish episode in it.
Hey,
all right,
we didn't do a lot of accents this episode, surprisingly. I thought there was going to be way more voice work in this one.
This is true. We we don't want to offend the British people too much. Our bad opinions are enough to make the British upset.
Maybe at some point I will do a British dance music episode, and then you can hear me accidentally slip into calling things a wicked tune.
Oh
like,
my fucking god.
I spend too much time interacting with British people and their music on the internet, and I will just occasionally find myself saying things like "take the piss" or "massive tune, mate" or whatever. And I'm like, what am I doing? Stop it. Get some help.
Hang on. All right. Not... again, I love to offend British people, so I'm going to do that right now real quick. If you are a British person, this is my impression of a British person who got mad at me for saying that the Libertines suck. Oi! Oh, the Libertines! They're a great band! They're a pride of Britain! How dare you!
They
got a little German there towards the end.
You're getting a little...
Yeah,
but to be fair, I am of Scottish. Again, my ancestry is Scottish. Again, Scotland will be free, will declare independence on the evil British Empire one of these days. All right, and I fully support it.
I was about to say, your British voice is very groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah. It's like Cajun Matty is trying to come out while British Matty is talking.
That's what it is. Matty identifies with Cajun Matty because Scottish people are the Cajun people of British people. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, Cajun Matty. Which, by the way, I'm recording this about 2 days before I go visit Los Angeles the first time since I moved. Cajun, now that I don't have to worry about like driving to places because I'm not bringing a car, I'm not renting a car, I'm just going to take Ubers everywhere. Cajun Matty, he's going to be making so many appearances over this next week and a half.
Yes.
He's going to be coming out. He's going to be coming out at Drawing Room twice. He's going to be coming out wherever people invite me. He's going to be all over the fucking place.
Maddie's been looking at that gumbo pot in the closet like the Green Goblin.
If you're listening to this episode the day it came out, like exactly when it's released, and you're subscribed to our Patreon, and you live in the Los Angeles area, which I'm pretty sure is like just CanCon. I guess that's who I'm talking to right now.
I think it's CanCon and it's Derek. It's Derek.
Then to those two people, come to the drawing room tonight, because the day this will be released is like the eve of my birthday, I believe.
Yes, please come to Drawing Room. Come see me while I'm in town, and
maybe
celebrate
I will
Jackie's
do
birthday.
a song by the Wombats at karaoke, and I will prostrate myself before my friends. Don't do
that.
I'm gonna Google Matty on air right now. I am gonna look up Fabio songs KJ, and I'm gonna investigate.
Look, once again, I am your judge, jury, and executioner, and I will beat you with a hammer if you do the Wombats at Drawing Room karaoke. I don't care if it's your birthday.
You don't want to dance to Joy Division?
Well, I want to dance to Joy Division. I don't want to dance to Let's
Matty,
Dance to Joy Division.
I have already scared the hose and done Interpol at karaoke more than once.
Which I've done Interpol too. I do fucking obstacle one all the time at karaoke.
Obstacle. I did like I've done both PDA and I did I did Roland, the my best friend's a butcher, he has 16 knives song.
My best friend's a butcher, he has 16
That's real
knives.
deep Interpol head shit. If you really into that song, then you're a freak. That's the line, I think.
Which I think I did sign up for PDA at one point, but I think I got too drunk and had to leave before I was called up to do that song.
If that's tale as old as time, my friend. Oh my God, Matty. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the Wombat songs, including Let's Dance to Joy Division twice.
Oh, yes. Jackie.
Matty, I would probably do Moving to New York, because that is the better of the two big hits from the first one. I can't believe I got
this one the most.
I can't believe I got. Well, yeah, but it also people don't they dislike it like you.
Yeah,
they probably don't know Moving to New York as well.
I can't wait for Fabio
or kill the director. Or
I can't. Because if you go on the Fabio website, you go to Drawing Room, it tells you you can't do no Disney, no Creed, no Nickelback, no Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I will get
They're going to add no the Wombats, which I think we've discussed this on the podcast. I feel like we have to have. Like, here's the thing: we love Fabio, we love Drawing Karaoke. I love it so much. It is where I truly came out of my shell when I moved to LA. Now Creed it's a long-standing role. I get it. Disney songs, great. Get the fucking theater kids out of here. Nickelback sucks, but I get it. I understand it.
But I still
I disagree, of course.
We should make an exception for how you remind me. That's what we should do.
Yes, I was about to say that not being there is criminal.
But I feel like banning Red Hot Chili Peppers at a Los Angeles bar, that feels illegal. Like I don't fuck with this band.
The Drawing Room is a dictatorship and is run by Katrina. It's run by the bartenders. Christina, sorry.
Again, which again.
I also haven't been to the Drawing Room in a couple weeks, but no, like what Christina says goes, and it doesn't. I agree with you. I mean, I was just today posting about Anthony Kiedis on Twitter. I'm the known defender of the Chili Peppers on this podcast. I would love to skibidi bop bop at Drawing Room Karaoke, but I also understand that that's not a power I should have. I can't be trusted with that, and so I think that's like they don't let you do certain things on airplanes, and I'm just understanding about that, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God.
They don't let you do certain things on aeroplanes. All right, end the episode.
God. All right, let's wrap the sucker up. Thank you all for listening. This is our last proper episode of the year, as starting next week we get into our end of year coverage, as next week is the Pod Awards. Very excited for the episode. And of course, we'll have our album of the year episode going over our top 10 albums of the year. We are kind of starting to get our ballots put together for that. Very excited to see how it turns out. I again, as of course the host of the podcast that's following everything, I have no fucking idea where our list is going to look like. Like, I have a vague sense of what maybe might make it. It's going to be a messy list.
I think I know an album that's going to make it.
I hope it Grant, genuinely, I hope it makes it in. I think you and Gavin are going to push it in. If we're thinking of the same album, you two might push it.
He would push it in.
You two
Matty,
might fit it
Matty.
in. You two might fit it in there. All right.
I was about to say,
It
do you
fits in
think
there.
they can fit? Do you think it'll fit in there? I think it'll fit in there.
But yeah, very excited for that. And then of course, we of course the episode that you might have heard recently was YouTuber Music Volume 1, and I made that I unlocked that episode for a reason. One, because we had an episode that was supposed to come out. The recording got canceled, and I'm like, I don't feel like trying to put together something last minute. Let's just go ahead and put up a bonus episode, which was YouTuber Music Volume 1. Volume 2 will be coming out before the year ends, so you have that to look forward to.
No one's looking forward to that.
I'm not looking forward to it, but maybe our listeners are. We'll have to see.
We're gonna talk about the worst song ever.
Oh god, is it? Okay, I was gonna say I already know which one it is.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, thank you all for listening to this episode. We will see you all next week for the Pod Awards 2K23. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your day, evening, night, whatever time you're listening to this. And we love you.
Pip pip cheerio.
Pip pip cheerio.
In it.
Oi!